Welcome to ISKCON of Silicon Valley. It's a great night for hearing Bhagavatam. And thanks for roughing it through the weather to make it down here. I first offer my respectful obeisances to my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and to all of you, because you are Vaishnavas, and therefore the most worshipable in the three worlds. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shri Mate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Tale Shri Mate Bhaktivedanta Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine nirvishesha shunyavadi paschatya deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Premanande, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chintakala Baba Nab Tamstar Kena Yojayet. Tonight, I'm going to read to you from the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 25th chapter. And this chapter is entitled The Glories of Devotional Service. It begins with Sri Shaunaka, who says, although he is unborn, the Supreme Personality of Godhead took birth as Kapila Muni by his internal potency. He descended to disseminate transcendental knowledge for the benefit of the whole human race. Purport: the word Atma Pragnaptaye indicates that the Lord descends for the benefit of the human race, to give transcendental knowledge. Material necessities are quite sufficiently provided for in the Vedic knowledge, which offers a program for good living conditions and gradual elevation to the platform of goodness. In the mode of goodness, one's knowledge expands. On the platform of passion, there is no knowledge, for passion is simply an impetus to enjoy material benefits. On the platform of ignorance, there is no knowledge and no enjoyment, but simply life almost like that of animals. The Vedas are meant to elevate one from the mode of ignorance to the platform of goodness. When one is situated in the mode of goodness, he is able to understand knowledge of the self or transcendental knowledge. This knowledge cannot be appreciated by any ordinary man. Therefore, since a disciplic succession is required, this knowledge is expounded either by the Supreme Personality of God himself or by his bona fide devotee. Shaunaka Muni also states here that Kapila, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, took birth or appeared simply to appreciate and disseminate transcendental knowledge, simply to understand that one is not matter but spirit, aham brahmasmi, I am by nature Brahman, is not sufficient knowledge for understanding the self and his activities. One must be situated in the activities of Brahman. Knowledge of those activities is explained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Such transcendental knowledge can be appreciated in human society, but not in animal society, as clearly indicated here by the word nranam for the human beings. Human beings are meant for regulated life. By nature, there is regulation in animal life also, but that is not like the regulative life as described in the scriptures or by the authorities. Human life is regulated life, not animal life. In regulated life only can one understand transcendental knowledge. The verse again says, and it's Shonika speaking, although he is unborn, the Supreme Personality of Godhead took birth as Kapila Muni in his internal potency. He descended to disseminate transcendental knowledge for the benefit of the whole human race. So it's important to note that the Supreme Personality of Godhead doesn't come into the world like an ordinary conditioned soul who's forced to take birth and rebirth because of the modes of material nature. In the Gita, Krishna says, Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha hankara hankara vibhudatma kartaham iti manyate. There's a way in which the living being, the living entity becomes entangled in matter. The mind, intelligence become contaminated. The contaminated intelligence then forms the false ego, which connects to this idea. It's really prevalent, the most prevalent in the material world, that I am the body and everything in relationship with this body is mine. And that person thinks I am the doer. Krishna is never under such illusion when he comes to the material world, because it's his energy. It makes no difference whether it's internal or external to him. Neither of the energies controls him. Rather, he's the source of those energies and he's the controller of the energies. So in the Gita, Krishna says, namam limpanti, namam karmani limpanti, nami karma palaspriha. He says that anyone who knows this fact, that I'm not entangled when I come to the material world, also becomes liberated. So understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his nature is vitally important. We also discussed the verse the other day from the 4th chapter of the Gita, in which Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvata tyakva deham punarjanma naiti ma meti sorjuna. And that is that my appearance and my activities in this world are divyam. They're divine. Whereas the living entities' activities in this world are not divine. Of course, unless they're fully engaged in devotional service, then they enter within that divine realm. As Krishna mentions in the Gita 9th chapter, Satatam kirtayantamam yatantascha dridhavrita namaschantaschamam nitya yukta upasate mahatmanastumam partha daivim prakritimashita. Says those who are engaged in devotional service are under the protection of my divine nature. But Krishna is never under the control of the external energy. So this is important to note, that Krishna's activities, his birth in this world, are not ordinary. In the Gita, Krishna says that people who are envious of him think of him as an ordinary person, and they deride him when he comes, because the material world is like that. It's full of icha and dvesha. Krishna confirms this in the 7th chapter of the Gita, icha dvesha samutena. Could somebody turn the heat down, please? Icha dvesha samutena. Oh, unless you're all freezing. It's like a hot yoga in here or something. Icha dvesha samutena dvanda mohena bharata sarvaputani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Icha dvesha means aversion and attachment to the circumstances of the material world. Krishna's not subjected to that, because it's his energy, he's not attracted to it. So cultivating this knowledge is important. Knowing who Krishna is and understanding the nature of his appearance, and also hearing about his pastimes, just in and of itself, is sufficient to liberate one from this material world. And this is knowledge which you might have noticed is lacking in the world. There's not much knowledge at all about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In fact, whenever there's a natural disaster, people get together and they speculate about the nature of God. How could this have happened if there is a Supreme, and so forth. The actual nature of Krishna is that he's the most friendly of all living entities there are, and his friendliness is inconceivable. How friendly is he? He travels with every living entity and accompanies each soul through whatever transmigrations that soul makes, and is always attentive to the needs of that soul and giving whatever facility the soul desires. And when Krishna comes to this world, even when he kills demons, the demons themselves are liberated. And even if people have ill motives towards Krishna, if they're thinking of him, Kamadvesha Bhaya Snehad, it's mentioned in the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, out of lust or hatred, if they have some affection, attraction in any different way, whether it's positive or negative, if they're connected with Krishna, they get purified. That's how powerful Krishna's personality, form, and name are. And in fact, if someone says Krishna's name accidentally or out of derision, Jayanama Deha Munivrindageya Janaranjanaya Panamaksharakite Twamanadharada Pimana Gudiritam Nikilo Gratapa Patolimba Lumpasi. Rupa Goswami says if somebody says the name of Krishna because they're trying to insult him or the devotees, and even when they do that, Krishna is so friendly that he gives them the ultimate benefit. Oh, he said my name. And such a person becomes freed from stocks of what's called ugra karma, horrible, sinful stockpile of karma that's ready to pounce on them. It gets destroyed by saying the name of Krishna. So he's not an ordinary person for sure. If his name is that transcendental in his form and everything about him, and anyone he contacts is all good for everyone. And his intention coming to the world is to give people an idea of who he is, because you don't find him on CNN. They generally avoid such things and like to speak about all kinds of mundane topics. And you don't generally hear about him in grammar school or kindergarten, unless you go to a Gurukul or you're homeschooled. You heard about Krishna, right? And so this is the one thing that's lacking. And if you try to go anywhere in this world, no matter how beautiful the place might be, if Krishna isn't there and there isn't some sense of engagement in Krishna's service, you'll just suffer. I've been to Hawaii many times. It's supposed to be paradise, but I must say, it almost makes it worse because the suffering is right there. And there's no place you can go in the material world where it's not. I was once flying into Japan, first time, 1979, and I was thinking, what a mystical land this is. It's probably different than the rest of the material world. And when I was waking up on the descent into the airport, I looked down and I thought, there it is. It's practically Vaikuntha. And then I saw 2 ambulances crossing over an overpass with their lights flashing as we were coming down. And I thought, no, it's all the same. So, Bhakti Yoga, as is being described in this chapter, begins by understanding the nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because the sum and substance of the practice of bhakti is to offer oneself in service to Krishna. And this is very natural because, as Lord Chaitanya explained to his disciple Sanatana Goswami, Jivera Swarupohoy Nitya Krishna Das, that we're eternally servants of Krishna. That's our constitutional position. And therefore, it makes sense that if we offer service to him and we surrender to him, that we'd feel naturally enlivened and connected. And when I divert my attention somewhere else and I try to make myself happy in this material world, then that happiness is stifled. And in fact, even those who try to reach transcendence through arduous processes of militantly controlling their senses end up falling back down again from whatever imagined position of liberation they make, because one of the reasons, as mentioned in the Shastra, is that such a person who becomes so expert at controlling his or her senses through the yoga process then has a sense that, oh, I did this. I'm so powerful. I'm able to control my senses. And this is one of the tenets, or rather I should say humility is one of the tenets, or feeling fully dependent on Krishna is one of the tenets of Sharanagati, or surrender to Krishna, that allows one to enter into the service of Krishna and to rise above the three modes of material nature. When I have an iota, what is an iota anyway? Can you look it up? I know it's a small amount, but I would like to know how small. If I have a trace of, or a sense that I am the one who's doing this, then it's very likely that I will not be successful. But those who simply put themselves at the beck and call of Krishna and surrender to him will be successful, because he's all powerful and he's all merciful and he's ready to assist any surrendered soul. And if anyone feels that I don't have any qualification for any kind of advancement in this world, I mean, it's not so hard to get, it is hard to get ahead in this world as it is, isn't it? Please say yes. And then through the yoga process, it's also very difficult, because one has to, as the Sri Brahma Samhita says, the yogis drill their respiration and perform all kinds of really heavy austerities in order to try to fix their minds on the Supreme and come close to him. But Brahma says they find themselves very far away. They can never get close, because they have this sense that I'm doing it. It's me. But the devotees, on the other hand, have a sense that I have no qualification, and my only asset is my dependence on Krishna. Does that sound doable? That's the process of bhakti. Yes. What is an iota?
So it doesn't give the precise size, it just says infinitesimal.
Infinitesimal.
Yes.
And where does the word come from?
Actually, it comes from Bible.
It comes from the Bible, which means Greek.
It just said that, in the Bible, it's mentioned in the Bible. Otherwise, iota is the 9th letter of the Greek alphabet, and it's the smallest letter in the Greek alphabet.
Iota is the smallest letter in the Greek alphabet, and it's number 9?
Number 9, the 9th letter in the alphabet.
I did not know that. Thank you. Anyway, you shouldn't have, one must divest oneself of even an iota of sense that I'm doing this. Then Prabhupada talks about the modes of nature. Now this is very important, because as Krishna mentions in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, we're engaged as if in a war against the material energy. In the 15th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, Nama Vamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manakshashtan Indriyani Prakriti Stani Karshati. The mention here is that we're parts of Krishna, And in the material world, we're struggling very hard with the six senses and the mind, grappling. And so, then, back to the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions that the modes of nature, especially Rajagun, the mode of passion, because of somehow or other associating with the mode of passion, that invades the senses, the mind, and the intelligence. And the intelligence is the next door neighbor too. Who's the neighbor? What kind of neighborhood are we talking about here? To the Atma, to the soul. It's right next door. So when those entities, those organs become infected with the mode of passion, then one begins a retrograde path in the material world. So it's vitally important to know the science of the three modes of material nature. Bhagavatam therefore begins with this metaphor: Partiva dharano dumas tasmaragnis trayi mayaha tamasastu rajas tasmat sattvam yad brahmadarshanam. That the raw wood is not as useful as fire. Fire is compared to the mode of goodness, and raw wood is compared to the mode of ignorance. And in between is the mode of passion, which is compared to smoke. Smoke is there, and Prabhupada comments, smoke disturbs, but it doesn't serve, unless you're a beekeeper. So this smokiness, it simply obscures our vision. But we need to bring it to a blaze, and that means the mode of goodness. So if one associates with the lower modes of material nature, the direction one's going is already assigned in the Bhagavad Gita. Urvam gachanti sattvasta, madhyam tishtanti rajasa, jaganya gunavrittista, ado gachanti tamasaha. These are very simple traffic instructions, like it's very straightforward. The information Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita is not fanatical, it's very practical. So this is practical instruction. He says that if you're in the mode of sattva, then you go upwards. Urdhvam means up. Urdhvam gachanti means to go. Sattva sta, if you're situated sta in goodness, then you'll go up. Madhyam tishtanti rajasa, if you're situated in rajagun, then you'll stay in the middle. And it's not exactly very comfortable in the middle, unless you like it here on the planet Earth the way it is these days. Madhyam tishtanti rajasa. Jaganya means abominable. Jaganya guna vritti sta. The abominable mode is ignorance or tamogun. Ado gachanti tamasa. If you touch ignorance, then you get dragged down, and you don't want that. The objective is to go up, not down, just to be clear. So if you learn how to organize your life in order to stay in the mode of goodness, then you can have sattvam yad brahmadarshanam, then you can have a clear understanding of the difference between matter and spirit. And if you don't know that, as Prabhupada mentions here in the rest of the purport, then you're on the level of an animal. And animals are full of fear all the time because they have no idea that they're not their body. Whereas a human being miraculously has the mental capacity to understand consciousness and understand the difference between the body and the self. Krishna confirms this many places, but very obviously in the 13th chapter of the Gita, where he mentions Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetrishu bharata kshetrajnayor jnanam yatash jnanam matam mama. He says real knowledge attained by the soul means the ability to be aware of the fact that I'm in a body, I'm not a body. I'm riding in a body, but it's different from me. What's more, he describes in chapter 15 of Gita that if one's educated in the science of knowing the difference between the body and the self, even when you leave the body or someone else leaves the body, you're able to see what's really going on. He says, Utkramantam stitam vapi bhunjanam vagunan vitam vimunanana pashyanti jnana chakshusha. This means that a person whose eyes are trained in knowledge about how the soul is leaving his body, and how is it? Utkramantam, he's stepping out of it at the time of death. Utkramantam stitam vapi bunjanan vagunam bitam. A person who knows about this is not bewildered, whereas a person who's like an animal in the mode of ignorance and passion simply thinks, I'm my body, this is my family, this is my country, I'm dying now. And it's a very painful situation. And it happens again and again and again and again until one becomes liberated from the bodily conception of life. So it's vital that human beings take to the process of devotional service. Can be easily executed by concentrating one's mind on Krishna, because Krishna is the source of all spiritual and material energy. And one who is able to fix his mind on Krishna through the process of bhakti yoga, chanting Krishna's names, hearing about Krishna's pastimes, and seeing Krishna's form, especially, then such a person will rise above the lower modes of material nature and come to the spiritual platform, even above material goodness. Will come to the position of Shuddha Sattva. And from that position, one is able to see Krishna constantly. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam Na Iyate Tatra Puman Apavrita. Now, before I move on to some really nice verses further on in this chapter, we'll take a few reflections or questions.
Guru Maharaj, can you elaborate a little further on when we on the 4th chapter when it says that is Janma Karma Mache Divyam? What does Divyam really means? I mean, does it mean that it's perfect? There's no fault in it, you know?
That's what it means, yeah. Krishna's, it's two energies Krishna describes, the material energy and the spiritual energy. And the living beings who are in the material energy, Shara Shakshara Evacha, Shara Sarvani Bhutani, are always fallible. Those who are in the spiritual world are called infallible. But beyond both the fallible and the infallible, there's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's the source of them all. He's so inconceivably great and beyond the fray of any of the energies that the great sages understood this and focused their mind on Krishna. Bejare Munio Tagre Bhagavantam Adhoksajam Sattvam Vishuddham Shemaya Kalpante Yenutaniha. They understood his existence beyond the three modes of material nature, and therefore they fixed their minds on him. And anyone who follows in the footsteps of those sages is also eligible for the same result. We have the power of focus and the choice of where to place our attention. Yoga really means to become educated in the science of where to place one's attention. If you want to be a mystic yogi, you can mess around with the material energy and do some really interesting things by focusing your consciousness on one particular energy, so much so that the chitta, or your own consciousness, then begins to take on the quality of that particular material energy. That's why yogis can do so many fantastical, seemingly magical things. But that's all a waste of time. However, a bhakti yogi simply focuses his or her mind on Krishna, Krishna's form, name, pastimes, etc. Because they're divyam, and they're divyam in a very special way. Krishna is the source of everything, material and spiritual. Yes?
Thank you, Maharaj. I had, when we were talking about how Krishna's names are so potent, like last Saturday we met a person while book distribution in Santa Cruz, and then we showed the Maha Mantra, and then her immediate reaction was that, oh, I used to love that. So she has heard this before, and then she also appreciated, and then she chanted the mantra. But we see so many such people who have appreciated and who have also chanted. So what happens to them, like especially I'm pointing out to like the Western audience.
Well, what can happen to anyone is if you take your eye off the ball, take your eye off the road, you're going to hit the guardrail and maybe go over the edge. As there's a verse in the Shastra that says the spiritual life is like a razor's edge. And if a little bit of inattention could cause bloodshed. It's serious business. Prabhupada says, I mean, not to scare anyone or ruin the mood here, but I mean, Prabhupada mentions how careful we have to be. The Shastra again and again mentions such things. And that's why we have these kind of admonitions given in the Upadeshamrita, where Rupa Goswami mentions that there are 6 things that will destroy your devotional service. You don't want that. And one of them is janasanga. You associate with worldly minded people. And so if you just mess around and you start associating, even without knowing it, you can be swept away. Maya is so tricky and the time factor is so strong that just within a few minutes you think it's a blink of an eye and it's 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, or hundreds of lifetimes, or thousands, or millions, that one can be inattentive and lose the opportunity. That's why the Bhagavatam gives us all kinds of warnings, showing us the story of Bharat Maharaj and so forth. Stick with the process. And always be a neophyte. Don't think that you're liberated. And always be careful. Figure that amongst everybody, I'm the most vulnerable. Instead of the opposite. Like all those other losers, they could, anything can happen to them, but I'm good. Then you're sure to get some kind of problem in your life. So a lot of it has to do with attitude and protecting yourself. And anybody can slide off the path. But it's an eye-opener, isn't it? I mean, we've had God brothers that come back and it's like, can you remind me what's the Panchatattva mantra and stuff like that? I mean, living entities are tiny. They're little atomic size particles of spirit and no match for the material energy. So if you play games with the material energy and dabble in it, then you can find yourself far afield and you have to make your way back. Prabhu. Mayapur Bihari, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. You touched upon that verse, kartaham iti manyate.
Yes.
I mean, that I'm not the doer. So, when something good we do, I understand that Krishna is using it as an instrument and one should not be puffed up thinking that it's because of my intelligence or money or strength. But, when something negative happens, like, or a jiva does crime or anything, he's very much implicated. I mean, he gets horrific karmic reaction, which goes on maybe for most of us since time immemorial. And we cannot say that, the jiva just say, I'm not the doer. Why am I implicated? So how exactly, I'm not able to interpret it, especially in the negative terminology. How can we explain to the jiva, you are not the doer? Then why am I implicated? Why am I in this material world?
Well, the verse says, kartaham iti manyate, that the manyate, the consideration of the person who's influenced by material nature is that I am the doer. The devotee, on the other hand, is described, brahmanyadaya karmani sangam tyakva karotiya lipitena sapapena padma patram ivambasa. The person who's developed a clearer understanding and very practically is experiencing because of rising above the modes of passion and coming into the mode of goodness, that I'm actually not the doer. And for one who's in the mode of material nature, it doesn't make sense. It just seems like I'm the body. And when that consideration is there, then I'm carried along by the influence of the material nature. when Dharma, the bull, is questioned by Parikshit Maharaj, who has beaten you? This is in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. He doesn't name a culprit. And the Bhagavatam says something very profound there. Shukadeva is saying, or Parikshit rather, is saying that the person who names the culprit becomes complicit, because when you're identifying yourself with the activity and the result of it, or you're naming the agent that's apparently causing the activity, then you're still entangled in the same mentality that got you here in the first place. The opposite of that is tate anukampam susamikshamanu bunjane evatma kritam vipakam. The devotee thinks that whatever situation I'm in now has been caused by my own dealings with the material nature and becoming attached to it unnecessarily, and therefore whatever reactions are coming are my fault. And as I quoted, lipite nasapapena, the person who is clear in understanding that whatever I do in the material world, I simply offer the result to Krishna. Brahmanyadaya karmani sangam tyakva karotiya. He gives up the idea that I'm the doer, and he offers the results of all his work to Krishna, and therefore he's not touched by it. So it's a subtlety, and we're subtle beings, and the mind and intelligence are subtle, and it becomes entangled in the material world by this consideration of I, me, and mine, and in the I'm the doer. Yes, a follow-up.
Thank you, Maharaj. So, when you say give your results to the Lord, that subtle part.
Give what?
Give the results to the Lord.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that? One way for a grihastha, when we earn the income, some part of it, or the time. But if we see in our life, even all that is not probably 20% or whatever it may be. The bulk 80% is still not offered. So how can we actually or practically do it?
Well, you just said you could give your money. Or you can give your service and your time. And you can also consider that whatever I'm able to do is by the mercy of Krishna. And whenever something comes as a seeming reaction, we could consider that this is coming from my purification. And Krishna is giving me only a token of what I deserve. Anyway, Krishna says, start somewhere. Yakoroshi yadashna shiyas johosi dadasya yatapasya sikonteya tat kurushva mararpanam. In the Gita 9th chapter, Krishna says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, give away, do as an offering unto me. So this verse actually refers to somebody who's not yet engaged in bhakti. And Krishna is saying, start somewhere, understand that whatever you have, however imperfectly you offer it, do it as an offering to me. And a person, for instance, Prabhupada said, who's working in a factory, might consider that I'm doing this work for Krishna. Just that awareness that I've been engaged like this by Krishna and I'm doing this for him is a way that one begins to free oneself from this prison-like situation that we're in the material world. And then there are further steps Krishna mentions in the Gita that practice, if you can't think of me all the time, if you're not fixed on me naturally, spontaneously, then practice the tenets of bhakti yoga. And what are the tenets of bhakti yoga? For instance, a good bhakti yogi wakes up in the morning early and has some kind of program to remember Krishna. You can chant his names. That's a sure way to be in contact with Krishna immediately, because apana samsritim goranya nama vivashogranan tata sadyo vimucheta yad bibheti swayambayam. Krishna is non-different from his name, and he's there to protect his devotees. And if you simply chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, you'll realize his presence. that he's there directly in your life. Not only that, the power of the name will act in your life because Krishna's personal potencies are all there. Krishna's dancing in your tongue, he's there with you. Then also, a good bhakti yogi can hear something from the Bhagavatam in the morning. And if you do that, then you get your mind right. And then you can also take prasadam. And if you have the wherewithal, you can have some deities. We recommend Guru Gauranga deities, deities of Gaur-Nitai, because they're very merciful. And if you keep Gaur-Nitai in your house, and you just offer them a little something, whatever you eat, offer to them first. That's a big major step. But the fact is, your whole house gets transformed. Houses are boring, if they don't have Gaur-Nitai in them. People get tired of them. Robin Williams was born in became multi-millionaire. He lived in a house down here in San Francisco. Used to drive by it sometimes, and right on the coast. And it's an amazing house, but he got tired of it. It's just totally boring living in a house. It doesn't matter big or small. If you don't have deities in your house, you're going to get bored. And it's just a stupid house, and you got to fix it. And even in expensive houses, stuff breaks down, and you got to call people out there, and then you got to go out and work all day just to maintain the big heap of stones and metal and everything like that. And all you get really is the same shower you get if you live out in the woods in Vraj. And people, I see them in the morning time, they just dump a bucket of water on their head, and they're good to go. They don't have to worry about it. So, where was I? Fact is, deities in a house. If you put deities in your house, so you have these few things. You chant Hare Krishna. That's easy. The mantra is simple enough. Practically anybody can learn it. Then you read Bhagavatam. If you don't have Bhagavatam, see me after class. Then offer some food to Krishna. It's a really nice, because everyone can be engaged in that, chopping, cooking, whatever. If you don't know how to make anything, just make dal. And if you want to make khichdi, I have a recipe for you. It comes from my good friend Ruchi. And great. You can live on khichdi. A few papadums, As the life is simple, you got to have a little crunch. So you get some khichdi. And you get a few lemons. You can grow those in your yard. Get a few lemons and some khichdi and a few papadums and a glass of water. And what more do you want out of life? You got that. Now you offer to the deities, and they'll be smiling at you. And you have a little kirtan. Then you give everyone in the family a prasadam, and off you go. And if you got to work to maintain and save up money and stuff, then do it for Krishna. You can give some of your income to Krishna when there's a fundraiser. You can be bold and throw up your hand and say, 10,000. I'm a number 5, number 6, and everyone, yay! And by doing that, it's a sacrifice for grihastas to give away their money because they work so hard for it. But it's yajna. Actually, the demigods. I was just reading in the 7th canto. The demigods were upset because Hiranyakashipu stopped the yajna. They were so relieved when Hiranyakashipu was killed by Nrsingadev that they could get back to doing yajna and sacrifice, because it's their wealth, is to be able to take some austerity for Krishna. That's what's called civilization. When the society is set up, it's supposed to be varnashrama. There's divided up so everyone can work peacefully with what they're good at. And then the whole idea of the society is to do something for Vishnu and make some sacrifice. Aw. So it's a simple thing. And anything you do in that regard goes to your eternal benefit. And it's not something mysterious or foreign. It's something you feel right away. When people get a chance to do some service and do a little sacrifice, they start feeling happy right away, right? Say yes. Yes. So you feel happy right away. And no matter how much you try to make yourself comfortable in the material world, worst thing that can happen is you get successful. Really, that's the worst, because at least poor people, they have some hope that someday maybe I'll make it. But rich people, they're hopeless because they make it to the top and then they realize that there's nothing here. It's the same sink, it's the same bathtub, it's just a little bigger, different model. The water flows this way instead of straight down. And it really does, after a few days, it really doesn't make any difference at all. And if you look at what rich people eat, it's not any different. And Prabhupada used to say, you might have $1 billion, but if your karma is that you can only digest 4 chapatis, that's all you get. That's all you can do at 4 chapatis. And that's really the only happiness in material life. There's eating, sleeping, mating, defending. But it's the same in human life as it is in animal life. There's no difference at all. In fact, animals are better at it a lot of the time. So, don't be a foodie unless it's for Krishna. Live simply and offer a sacrifice. Ananta Prabhu.
So how about sleeping? So can you make sleep a service to Krishna as well?
Well,
because we're talking about things in waking life, waking everyday life. So what about when you go to bed?
Yeah, when you go to bed, if you do service throughout the day, then when you sleep, you're going to dream about Krishna. Guaranteed. You'll have dreams about doing service, devotional service. You ask our Sankirtan leaders here if they don't wake up in the middle of the night dreaming about how they're going to make their quota. Right? Like some anxieties there. And Prabhupada gave this example that he knew this person who was all day long, the cloth merchant, he was quoting prices in his shop. And then he'd take a nap on the floor, because, that's how you do it. You just lie down on your left side, go to sleep, and Prabhupada said he'd walk by him, and the guy in his sleep, he'd be quoting prices. So whatever you do predominantly when you're awake, that's what you're going to do when you're sleeping too. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yukta swapnavabodhasya yoga bhavati dukkha. Don't sleep too much, but don't sleep too little. Big mistake. I've seen it. I've done it. Devotees try to cut out sleep prematurely, and next thing you know, they're sleeping in the Bhagavatam class or during their japa. And don't put them behind the wheel of a car because they'll drive over the meridian strip. So you got to get enough sleep, and a lot of studies show it nowadays that if you don't get enough sleep, the brain becomes damaged because of it. Does that help? And the best advice of all is to go to bed early. Because if you go to bed early, then you get the best of both worlds. You get to get up early in the early times in the morning, and that's when you can really do some nice service. Yes.
Maharaj, so you were telling about 6 things that can demolish one's spiritual life. Can you name them, please?
Sure. Those you'll find in the Upadeshamrita, verse number 3, if you want to put it up on the screen. So the first one's called Atyahara. So Atyahara is broken into 2 words, Ati, which means extreme, and Ahara means eating. And Atyahara, extreme eating, it's like, it also relates to collecting, too much collecting. So don't eat too much, and don't live just to eat, but eat to live. Be balanced in that. And you don't need too much stuff. It also includes don't collect too much knowledge. There's a lot of knowledge we don't need. For instance, if you start going into Vedic studies, there's all these different darshans you can learn about all the intricacies of philosophy. You don't need it all. In fact, Rupa Goswami mentions you should learn what your guru knows and be focused, specialize on that, because that's coming down the essence. And even at Naimisharanya, the sages, they're fully qualified to learn anything, but they asked Sudha Goswami, Buddhini buddhi karmani shotavyani vibhagasha atasadyo trayatsaram samutrita manishaya bruhi bhadraya bhutanam yena ma suprasidati. They said there's so many literatures to study, so many different philosophies. Please tell us where to focus our attention so that we can teach this to the world and make people's hearts happy. They want the essence. And so if you collect too much knowledge, even in the realm of devotional service, you can become a bookworm. And there's a admonition given by the Goswamis that if you become a bookworm and you start studying all kinds of knowledge just so that you can look good, in other words, like, hey, I knew that, you didn't know that, so who's better, me or you? If that's your intention, then this is not helpful for devotional service. It destroys devotional service. So don't overeat, don't over-collect. You don't need too many things. Keep the things you need. And don't try to collect more knowledge than you need in order to advance on the path of devotional service. Anantaprabhu, did you have a question?
I don't know what chapter it was. It was earlier. It said something about being situated in the mode of goodness and how knowledge expands in the mode of goodness.
Yep.
Because I sometimes find that I have a hard time reading the Bhagavatam or reading some, spiritual literature and concentrating. And so, does that mean I should try to get myself to be situated in the mode of goodness before to better?
Well, the secret is
absorb.
if you practice at anything, you'll get better at it. And concentration is one of the things that takes practice. The mind can get addicted to so many things, but if you can get it attached to hearing transcendental literature, then you're in luck. Because you'll naturally rise to the mode of goodness from that. Nashta prayeshu badrishu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyutamo shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobarayasche cheta iteranavidam stitam safe prasidati. Means if you hear the Bhagavatam, then naturally you'll rise above the modes of material nature. And you'll come to Shuddha Sattva, above the modes. So start with what you can handle, but practice. Just because I procrastinate or just because I have a hard time focusing doesn't mean I can't overcome procrastinating or develop a sense of focus if one practices. That's why Krishna says in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the mind can be the best friend of the worst enemy. And he says to Arjuna, who said, that sounds impossible, I can't focus my mind like that. And Krishna said, no, it's possible if you practice. So practicing hearing Bhagavatam means just that. It means take some time regularly, set it aside. And even if it's a little bit, if you do it regularly, somehow or other your mind will become attached to that vibration. And that's when you'll make advancement and you'll naturally rise to the mode of goodness by doing that.
Yeah, I've actually noticed improvement in my concentration in reading since I've started. It's getting better, but there are times where I'm just like, I'm not really focused. So I'm reading, I'm just going through the motions, but I'm not really absorbing.
Sure.
Not paying too much attention, even though I'm reading.
Well, I'm sure you have you'll have a lot of company in that. I mean, everyone struggles with the mind, including Arjuna. So it's natural. So you have to fight the righteous fight. And that's why we start off with what's called Vaidhi Bhakti. We regulate and we perform the devotional service whether the mind cooperates or not. So the mind says, I don't want to. And it's just like a kid says, I don't want to go to school. What do you say? That's all right, take the day off. Go play in the street, no problem. You say, that's all right. I know it's hard, but I'll drive you and you go to school and I'll pick you up and I'm going to give you a papadum when you get home. So, you have to train the mind to be fixed up in Vaidhi Bhakti. That's why the process, Adau Shraddha Tata Sadhusangata Bhajana Kriya, starts off with a little faith where you go like, I think this is the right thing. And then you start cultivating knowledge and you go, I know this is the right thing. I understand it. Self-luminous knowledge comes from within also by Krishna's instruction. Adau Shraddha Tata Sadhusanga. You get association with devotees and you start getting conviction that I should do this. And then Bhajana Kriya means you say, I'll take up the practice. It means you have to be regulated. And then you're going to run into Anartha Nivritti, which means that you'll find out how much work you have to do. I was just doing some organizing work when I got back from India. And, once I start taking files out and books and everything like that, I realize how much is actually stuffed in there. And the same thing, we've got so much stuffed in. You take that plus, trillions of lifetimes in the material world, there's a lot of files to clean out. And so you have to work through it by being regulated in the process of devotional service and be determined. So atyahara is the first one, and the second one is prayasaha, which means over-endeavoring. So you need to find a situation where you're not pushing yourself beyond the limits, so you're overwhelmed by your work, or even in devotional service, there are certain activities that you may or may not have the ability to achieve. For instance, oftentimes it's mentioned, don't build huge projects. Getting involved in the construction business and dealing with contractors and building a huge temple, it takes a lot of work. And acharyas do it. The 6 Goswamis all built their own temples. Prabhupada built tons of temples. But he was careful about it. He didn't charge right into it. He said, if the money comes, fine. I'm not going to pursue it. After prayasha means prajalpa, which means there's 6 kinds of prajalpa. And they're mentioned in the Shastra. But just in general, it means idle talking. If you find yourself with the choice when you sit down with a friend or somebody else, and you have the opportunity to either speak Krishna Katha or speak about politics or even the weather or anything like that, it's better to choose Krishna Katha. You'll notice a distinctive difference in your consciousness, and the level of the conversation will go way up. Of course, you may not be able to do that with everybody, but avoid idle talking. Then the next one is niyamagraha, which is a dual word. It means either not following the rules and regulations or following them and not knowing why you're following them. You get two, it's a twofer, 2 in 1 in that word. And then jana sangas, chalalyam cha. So jana sangas means to associate with people who are convinced that the material world is a great place, and they're trying to make a go of it here, and they're not interested in spiritual life. Lalyam, intense greed for material things. Asat trishna, being attached to the temporary. So these are 6 things that we should avoid, and the things that you should do are mentioned before that. Utsaha nischaya daryat, tat tat karma pravartanat, sangha tyagat, sato vrate, shadbir bhakti prasiddhiti. If you do these 6 things, it's guaranteed you'll make advancement. So here they are briefly. Should be enthusiastic. Entheos. Enthusiasm means the God within. Theos, theos. Nishchayat. You should be confident that the process will work. Dharyat, be patient. You got to give it enough time. Tat karma, various activities for devotional service, pravartanat. Sangatagat, give up association of non-devotees. There it is twice. Satavrite, and you should follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas and great sages. If you do those 6 things and avoid the other 6 things, you're good. Good to go. Now I'm going to read you a few more points. Is everyone okay? Pardon? Okay, from the internet? Okay.
This was connected to sleeping, so someone asked on
there's somebody's asking about sleep.
Sleeping on the YouTube. I mean, this was asked on the YouTube.
Yes.
And by Rakesh Boini Palli Prabhu. He says that can we take naps?
Yes. Highly recommend them. Naps are good. Proven scientifically, and Prabhupada took naps. He used to call it a snap. If it's a short one, it's a snap. Take a snap. 20 minutes is a good time period according to what sleep studies say if you want to wake up refreshed, because sleep really is, not that I'm a big expert, I've read a few things, but the brain needs to refresh. It's more a brain activity. It's just like sometimes if your computer's running slow or your phone, it's like, what's wrong? I have no idea. Just turn it off and turn it on again. Next thing, hey, it's fast again. So the brain's like that too. Just hit the off switch for 20 minutes and let it come back up again, and you'll be fine. Oh, anything else from the internet? And you had one last thing, a burning question. No, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I am very happy that I got a chance to attend your class. My question is, we read in this purport that a person in mode of goodness is practicing spiritual activities, and a mode of passion he is enjoying material world, and a mode of ignorance he is fearful. At this stage, even though we chant and we attend Bhagavatam classes and other things, all modes, impact of all modes are there. So in this age of Kali, is it possible still working in the material world, associating with other people, worldly minded people? Is it still possible to take the mode of goodness to the entire day, or is it possible to come out of the mode of passion and ignorance, fully situated in mode of goodness? Is it
Yes,
possible?
it's possible. In fact, that comes up here in this chapter, because Devahuti is asking Kapiladev that the modes of nature are so stringent, and I've been under them for so long, it seems impossible to get out of this. Anyone? So what should I do? And basically Kapiladev says, keep trying, because you're going to be successful. And that's where these ideas about being patient come in. You have to be confident and patient. Use your intelligence to understand this, that you're properly aligned. That this is not for blind followers. It's for people who have, number one, as you'll see from Devahuti, if I ever get there, they're fed up with the material world. I mean, Devahuti says it's like, I'm tired of this. I figured out the material world doesn't work. It's really a scam. It's not for people so much that think it's a great place. We already established that. If you think you're fine here in the material world, then have at it. Give it a shot, and come talk to us in a few more 1,000 lifetimes. No, I'm not just saying don't give that recommendation. But if somebody's tired of the material world and they understand this is not for me, then and they're not so inclined also to renunciation, and they're also not so inclined to material life. Krishna says this in the 11th canto. A person some people, they're predisposed to renunciation. They really enjoy giving up everything and living as a renunciate. Bhakti's not for you. And somebody who's like totally absorbed in the material world and thinks like, I'm going to be the enjoyer, it's not for you either. It's for the person who's in the middle. And they're not so inclined to renunciation, they're not so inclined to the material world either, then bhakti's for you. Of course it's for everybody, but especially someone with that temperament will be successful, Krishna says. Otherwise, for the renunciates, they take the jnana. For the materialistic people, they take the karma. The person in the middle takes the bhakti. And then, yes, if a person fortifies him or herself through the process of devotional service, then even while working amongst materialistic people or so-called environment in the not so-called environments in the modes of passion and ignorance, such a person will be indemnified. Could you look up the word? And it's like taking a vaccine. And then, where Prabhupada said, once somebody asked Prabhupada, it seems like Maya is so strong. How could we ever get out of this? And Prabhupada said, it's not that Maya is so strong, it's that your intention is so weak. And if your intention is strong, and you fortify yourself through the process of bhakti, don't go out without fortifying yourself. Make sure that you have that habit going on that you're hearing and chanting before you go out and face the world. Then, Prabhupada said, it's just like if you keep yourself healthy, then you don't fall sick. Generally, when the body is weakened because of stress and not sleeping enough and eating the wrong food, anyway, I'll go into it. Then, when you come in contact with some kind of pathogen, then naturally you get affected by it. But if your body's strong, you don't fall sick. So Prabhupada said the same thing. Even if you're mixing with the material world, if you've strengthened yourself and your resolve, and even as you're working, you're thinking, I'm working for Krishna, and you have the vibration of the mantra going because you were just practicing it before you left for work, then you'll be fortified. So yes, it's possible. And necessary. Yes.
I have the word.
Please.
Indemnify means to compensate someone for harm or loss, and its origin is in Latin. Damna means loss or damage, and indemnis means unhurt, free from loss or damage.
Oh, okay. I didn't use it properly at all then. It's more, well, anyway, I keep saying fortified. I'll leave it at that for now. Now I'm going to read you a few more points, okay? Everyone still have the patience for this? Yes. Okay. That's good. Shonaka continued, there is no one who knows more than the Lord himself. We're at 325.2. No one is more worshipable or more mature a yogi than he. He is therefore the master of the Vedas, and to hear about him always is the actual pleasure of the senses. I'm going to read the second paragraph from this purport. Prabhupada writes, anyone who is associated with the Supreme Lord is accepted as a first-class yogi. Devotees may not be as powerful as the Supreme Lord, but by constant association with the Lord, they become as good as the Lord himself. Sometimes the devotees act more powerfully than the Lord. Of course, that is the Lord's concession. Verse number 3. Therefore, please precisely describe all the activities and pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is full of self-desire, and who assumes all these activities by his internal potency. Srila Sutta Goswami said, are you picturing this? Sutta Goswami speaking, where is he? Naimisharanya. What does Naimisharanya mean? The forest where nobody blinks. Nimisha. It means they're so attentive that their eyes are wide open. They want to hear everything. Sutta Goswami said the most powerful sage, Maitreya, was a friend of Vyasadeva. Being encouraged and pleased by Vidura's inquiry about transcendental knowledge, Maitreya spoke as follows. Maitreya said, when Kardama left for the forest, Lord Kapila stayed on the strand of the Bindu Sarovara to please his mother, Devahuti. When Kapila, who could show her the ultimate goal of the absolute truth, was sitting leisurely before her, Devahuti remembered the words Brahma had spoken to her, and she therefore began to question Kapila as follows. So Kardama Muni was a great sage. He meditated for 10,000 years. He met the Lord personally, who then gave him a benediction and arranged for him to marry Devahuti, the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu. And then their offspring was none other than Kapiladev, incarnation of the Lord, who teaches Sankhya Yoga, which you'll find here in the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Kardama went off and took sannyas. He left his grown-up son to take care of his wife, Devahuti, and now she's asking him about absolute truth. Now here you go. Here's a verse you're going to be able to relate to, I hope. Number 7, Devahuti said, I'm very sick of the disturbance caused by my material senses. For because of this sense disturbance, my Lord, I have fallen into the abyss of ignorance. Further down in the purport, about 8/10 of the way down, eternal sensory activities are called devotional service, whereas temporary sensory activities are called sense gratification. So we're using the senses in devotional service, but when you use them for Krishna, it's like gold. And when you use them for sense gratification, for your own pleasure, then it's like iron. They're both metals because you're both using the senses, but one of them's gold and the other one's iron. 8. Your lordship is my only means of getting out of this darkest region of ignorance because you are my transcendental I, which by your mercy I have attained after many, many births. You are the Supreme Personality of God, the origin and Supreme Lord of all living entities. You have arisen to disseminate the rays of the sun in order to dissipate the darkness of ignorance of the universe. Now be pleased, my Lord, to dispel my great delusion. Due to my feeling of false ego, I have been engaged by your Maya and have identified myself with the body and consequent bodily relations. Devahuti continued, I have taken shelter of your lotus feet because you are the only person of whom to take shelter. You are the axe which can cut the tree of material existence. I therefore offer my obeisances unto you who are the greatest of all transcendentalists and inquire from you as to the relationship between man and woman and between spirit and matter. Maitreya said, after hearing of his mother's uncontaminated desire for transcendental realization, the Lord thanked her within himself for her questions, and thus, his face smiling, he explained the path of the transcendentalists who are interested in self-realization. Now you ready to hear the Kapila Dev speaking? Are you sure? Yes. The personality of God had answered, the yoga system which relates to the Lord and the individual soul, which is meant for the ultimate benefit of the living entity, and which causes detachment from all happiness and distress in the material world, is the highest yoga system. 14. O most pious mother, I shall now explain unto you the ancient yoga system, which I explained formerly to the great sages. It is serviceable and practical in every way. 15. The stage in which the consciousness of the living entity is attracted by the three modes of material nature is called conditional life. But when the same consciousness is attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is situated in the consciousness of liberation. Isn't that a useful definition of the difference between bondage and liberation? So when I'm attached, when my mind is attracted to the variety of the material world, which is a combination of the three modes of material nature, I'm said to be in bondage. But when that same impetus I have and the same kind of attraction is transferred to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then I'm said to be liberated. And this is the sum and substance of the process of bhakti. There is no negation because, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Nahi kashit shanamapi jatu tishchatka karma krit karyate hyavasha karma sarva prakriti jargunai. You can't be inactive. There is no state in which the living entity becomes completely inactive. And if there is, in deep sleep without dreams, called susupti, it will be again revived. And the person who comes out of that deep sleep without dreams, especially when in the body of Mahavishnu, after the cataclysm of the material world, and it's wound up again, then one will remember, oh, somehow or other I was sleeping and now I've been awakened again. But the activity of the soul is eternal. There is no negation of activity that one can stay in permanently. So transference of one's attention from the literature which is describing the modes of material nature and the sound vibrations of the material world which are created by the modes of material nature to literature which is describing the transcendence and the personality of Godhead and the vibration of the spiritual world, especially the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. If one becomes attached to that, then one's liberated. One's mind becomes freed from engagement by the three modes of material nature. I'll read Prabhupada's purport. there is a distinction here between Krishna consciousness and Maya consciousness. Guneshu or Maya consciousness involves attachment to the three modes of material nature, under which one works sometimes in goodness and knowledge, sometimes in passion, and sometimes in ignorance. These different qualitative activities with the central attachment for material enjoyment are the cause of one's conditional life. When the same Cheta, or consciousness, is transferred to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, or when one becomes Krishna conscious, he is on the path of liberation. 16. When one is completely cleansed of the impurities of lust and greed produced from the false identification of the body as I and bodily possessions as mine, one's mind becomes purified. In that pure state, he transcends the stage of so-called material happiness and distress. At that time, the soul can see himself to be transcendental material existence and always self-effulgent, never fragmented, although very minute in size. In that position of self-realization, by practice of knowledge and renunciation and devotional service, one sees everything in the right perspective. He becomes indifferent to material existence, and the material influence acts less powerfully upon him. Becomes indifferent to material existence because of experiencing a higher taste. He has a greater interest in life. And this is the symptom of advancement that one can see for oneself, as described in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam. Bhakti Parushanubhava Virakta Anyata Traisha Trika Ekakala Prapadyamanasya Yatashantashus Tushti Pushti Shud Apayonugasam. It means that a hungry person who eats food gets nourished, satisfied, and the hunger goes away. And in a similar way, a person who is on the bona fide path of spiritual realization naturally begins to revive the sense of bhakti or devotion to the Lord, sees the Lord directly for himself, and also becomes naturally detached from all things that aren't related to the personality of Godhead. What do you think? Okay. I'll read a couple more. 19. Perfection in self-realization cannot be attained by any kind of yogi unless he engages in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for that is the only auspicious path. And number 20. Every learned man knows well that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to the self-realized devotees, opens the door to liberation. I'm going to read from the purport, several paragraphs, second paragraph. Here it is recommended that attachment should be transferred to the self-realized devotees, the sadhus. And who is a sadhu? A sadhu is not just an ordinary man with a saffron robe or long beard. A sadhu is described in Bhagavad Gita as one who unflinchingly engages in devotional service, even though one is found not to be following the strict rules and regulations of devotional service. If one simply has unflinching faith in Krishna, the Supreme Person, he is understood to be a sadhu. And then in the next verse, it's a very famous verse, Titikshava Karunika, Kapila Dev gives the symptoms of a sadhu, which are Titikshava Karunika. Titikshava means tolerant, and Karunika means merciful. Surida Sarvadehinam, that person is friendly to all living entities, has no enemy himself, and is shanta, or peaceful. Sarva Sarabhushana, these are the sublime characteristics, or the ornaments, bhushana, of a person who's a sadhu or a devotee. Okay, let's just see if you have any more comments or questions before we go into the last leg of our program. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Tie goes to the runner. Are you going to ask?
I don't have a question.
Okay. Oh, you just what?
I had a comment.
A comment, yes.
So while reading these, while you were reading these verses, I was just reminded of Avanti Brahman, because he saw after, he had so many reversals, but somehow he could understand everything in the right perspective. He realized that his mind is the cause of all the problems he had, and I don't know. And then he became finally a sadhu, so I was just reminded of him.
That's true. There are frequent junctures in the Srimad Bhagavatam where we find a great soul who has an epiphany and realizes that, oh, I'm not meant to be in the material world. One of them is the Avanti Brahmana, who worked really hard to get ahead. Unfortunately, or fortunately actually, most fortunately, he lost everything. Problem was he was a miser. Misers are not looked upon well by human beings or demigods, and they took away everything that he had. But he came to a point of remembering that his main goal in life had been to pursue Krishna consciousness. And one of the reasons was, during his fruitive days, he had performed a sacrifice, and during the sacrifice he had thought favorably of the Lord and had a iota of devotional service, and that persisted even after he lost everything, and that became his main focus. We also find Pingala, who is the prostitute, described by Krishna in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, who one night when she went out to find a suitor and nobody was stopping, she just suddenly felt this sense of disgust coming into her mind that, why am I even doing this? And who are these people? They don't even care about me. And the more she thought about it, the more she thought of how useless the whole material world was. And then by Krishna's mercy, she was able to see that her whole body was just a material construction, and she was the soul within it, and she became a great devotee. So the juncture, the time at which, like Devahuti is saying, I'm disgusted with the material world, I no longer want to pursue it, is a momentous time for the soul. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Thank you for the lecture. So when you started, talking about Devahuti, right, how you mentioned, she's very frustrated with this material world, and we have nothing to do with material world. I got that part, but then the other half of my mind, was thinking about, it's like a paradox situation, right, where we still need to depend on this world, we still need to sail through this material world to get to the destination, right? So I was confused, but then the purpose that you read, backed up one thing after the other. So one of the purports talked about how you need to engage your senses in Krishna. The other purport talked about how you need to attach your consciousness to Krishna. And then the other purport talked about how you need to, get devotional service in the mix. If you don't do this, then life is waste. That's when you get frustrated. So it was a very beautiful,
Good, I'm glad you got that sense. This is called Yukta Vairagya. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught, Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatarham Upayunjita Nirbandha Krishna Sambande Yuktam Vairagyam Uchite Prapanchikataya Budya Harisambandhi Vasani Mumukshavi Parityago Vairagyam Balgukatyate. And that is that everything that we have in our purview can be used in the service of the Lord. And it must be used. And if you reject anything that can be used on this with a sense of renunciation, then this is called Falguga Vairagya. It's not very substantial. It's very weak. It's not helpful. It's false renunciation, actually. So the system is not that we withdraw from the world necessarily, but that we engage everything that we have in the service of Krishna. And then it becomes transcendentalized. And was there one more back there? Yes, Prabhu. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed you. Okay, get him a mic.
Thank you, Maharaj. I think very interesting topic, very practical topic we are discussing here, I think. So one of the previous verse says that that at some point, the material nature stops acting powerfully, the power on the living entity, but then some few verses before it says that it starts with the realization that that one has to give up lust and greed. And so, although in the scriptures we read that the lust and greed, the end result is not good. Basically, it keeps you dragging into it, and finally you get dissatisfaction, but still the living entity gets drawn into it. So, is it just the patience, patiently keep going through the scriptures, or what is that attraction to the lust and greed will slowly go away? I mean,
well, it can be transformed. So lust and greed are transformations of what's originally there, and that is our love for Krishna. And when that love for Krishna, which is pure, becomes tainted and contaminated by the modes of material nature, then that same impetus, that same kind of emotion becomes transformed into something that's profaned, and it's actually detrimental to us, becomes like poison. And this is called Hlada Tapatraya, described by Jiva Goswami, who says the same energies that are there in the spiritual world, Hladini, Sandini, and Samvit. These are the three divisions of internal potency in the spiritual world through which everything can be understood. There's a sense of eternal blissfulness in Hladini, and everything has its shape and form and variety in the spiritual world through Samvit potency. And those same divisions of internal energy, when they're in the material world, which is contaminated by the false ego of I am the enjoyer, they become transformed into the three modes of material nature, and they cause unlimited inconvenience to the living being. So the process, as Prabhupada describes very thoroughly, you can check this out near the end of the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, is to transform lust back into love. This is natural process when one comes in contact with Krishna consciousness. That sense of lust, when it's applied towards Krishna, then it becomes purified. And the same kinds of desires are there, but they become spiritualized by contact with the Supreme Pure, which is Krishna. So yes, you should be patient, because it takes a long time, and also you should be careful. And as long as one's in a material body, there's some danger. So there are accidents even on royal roads, Prabhupada used to say. So you have to be careful. But you should also be confident that it is a fact that as you continue the process of bhakti, especially hearing and chanting about Krishna, that the desire will be purified and transforms into its original form, which is love for Krishna. Does that help? Okay. Last one, yes.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, I had a question.
Good, you brought your own microphone. Just kidding. Go ahead.
Maharaj, I had a question about getting attached to a sadhu.
Yes,
So-
getting attached to a sadhu.
Yeah, so we just read in the previous verse, and this verse also describes a sadhu. Also, whenever I've heard this song of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Manasa Deho Geho, in one of the stanzas he says, Bhukti Mukti Spriha, I yearn for the company of that devotee who is completely devoid of all desire for material enjoyment or liberation. So I have always wondered, in the present context, in a neophyte sadhaka stage, how can one find a real sadhu who is free from desire for bhukti, mukti, and how can one get associated with such a sadhu and attach himself to such a sadhu?
You can ask for it as a prayer, and if you sincerely ask, then when the sadhu sangha is available, you'll have the preparedness of mind to take advantage of it. Oftentimes there are sadhus, but we can't see them because I'm distracted. And I'm thinking that something else is more important. And I miss out. So if you keep yourself ready and you cultivate this understanding that there's nothing more valuable than sadhu sangha, and take advantage of whatever sadhu sangha you can get whenever you can get it, because we don't know exactly. There's not a certificate people carry around and say, I'm completely free from all of these traits that you're mentioning. When you start to associate with people, you'll see that. And when Krishna notices that your desire is not lukewarm, lukewarm is not very nice. Mediocrity really is a bummer. But if you have a boiling hot desire, then Krishna will fulfill that desire, because he's the one who arranges sadhu sangha for us. And if you pray for it specifically, you can make that prayer. Krishna, please give me the best of association and also the wherewithal to take advantage of it. Because it's possible, an advanced devotee can be available and then I just become envious. It's like, oh, they're not so great after all. Who do they think they are? A lot of people, that's easy enough to do that. But we should appreciate the spark of devotion wherever we find it. As Prabhupada just mentioned in the previous purport, what is a sadhu? And he gives the standard that Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, apichet sudaracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak sadhureva samantavya samyag vyavasito hisa. He says, if a person is determined to have pure devotional service, that person is a sadhu. You have to accept him like that, Krishna says. Even if it seems like they're engaged in some worldly activities, or they sometimes have the worldly side comes out in them sometimes. And drishtai sabhava janitar vapushashta dosha na prakrita famiya bhakti danashya pashyat gangam nasam nakalabud buddhapena pankar brahma dravapvama bhagachati niradharmai. Rupa Goswami says, people may look and they see the external thing. A person they don't look, that good. I don't know. Is that really a sadhu? But he says like the Ganges, it's full of bubbles, foam, and mud. Person knows the glory of the Ganges, goes to the Ganges, just push it out of the way and you take your bath. and similarly, one should be aware of what a sadhu is. If someone has a spark for pure devotional service, that person is good association. Take advantage of it. Some people hold out and they say, well, these sadhus aren't any good. I'm looking for the really big one. And he's over there. And then they offend all the other ones. In fact, sometimes somebody's about to become a great sadhu. And if you neglect that person, then you're in trouble too. Because you don't know, a person's on the path, they may become, the greatest, most famous devotee that ever lived, like Dhruva Maharaj. He was just a little boy. His mother or his stepmother rather, dissed him totally. It's like, who do you think you are? Get out of here. Take a hike. So he did. And he went off and became a great devotee. And, later she got her comeuppance. And it's mentioned there, actually, that if somebody, like Dhruva, she didn't know he was going to become the most famous pure devotee who ever lived. But if you offend the person who later becomes a great devotee, you're still in trouble. So it's better to try to extract the essence and see. I mean, even like we go out on book distribution, right? Say yes. And when we're out there, you might meet somebody and you go like, wow, that person has more devotion than I do. I mean, that was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's vision. He's in the Jagannath temple and he's taking darshan of Jagannath back at the Garuda Stamba, and this woman ran in and climbed up the Garuda Stamba, half foot's on the Garuda Stamba and the other foot put it on Mahaprabhu's shoulder. Of course, Mahaprabhu didn't notice because he was so absorbed in seeing Jagannath. But Govinda, his servant, noticed this woman had climbed up, was standing not only in the Garuda Stamba, but also on Mahaprabhu's back. get down, get down. And then Mahaprabhu looked over, saw what had happened, and he chastised Govinda. He said, well, you uncivilized person. He said, I wish I had the same kind of devotion she has. Of course, in any circumstance, we can extract what is that impetus to love Krishna. Even in a materialistic person, then suddenly you see there's that spark is there. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani vanupashati sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tatuna vijagupsate. A person who's always like a geologist and notices things that other people don't see. So a person who's aware of the value of life and also knows that anyone who has even a spark of appreciation for devotional service is a great soul. That person is never devoid of association of sadhus, as they're appreciating that principle. Of course, when a great devotee is available somewhere, and a great devotee means, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, somebody, you can't tell who's a great devotee, he says, until you notice the touchstone effect, how that person is affecting other people. That's how it really shows. Similarly, oftentimes, and I've said this many, many times, but there are verifiable symptoms of a sadhu. And it's, as Prabhupada points out here, he says it's not because they have a long beard. It's like, oh yeah, you got to have a beard to be a sadhu. And it's some special look. It could, be some dorky looking person who's actually, a pure devotee. And that's the way it is if you find the quality. But the verifiable symptoms have to do with the fact that they're steady and their heart is completely free from the propensity to criticize others. That's what Rupa Goswami says. Anyway, there's a lot to be said about that. Thank you for bringing it up. And we just have a few more minutes to take shelter of the Maha Mantra after that diatribe. And we'll sing the Maha Mantra directly, because we sang pranams earlier. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. top one. Next level. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time. Not up. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sai Gaura Premanande Hari Haribo. Fantastic chanting. I was really feeling it from you tonight. Something special. Thank you very, very much. So we read Bhagavatam tonight. We've heard a lot of Bhagavad Gita verses. We discussed Krishna consciousness. This is the direct process of bhakti we're engaging in here, and we chanted the beginning and the end. This Friday, we'll be downtown San Francisco distributing over 1,000. How many books are we distributing? 1,400 packs times 3. You do the math. A few rocket scientists in here. Shraddha. Yeah, we'll be distributing thousands of books downtown. And Black Friday is the best deal they're going to get on Black Friday, I guarantee you. And it's a lot of fun. We distribute prasadam, books and the holy names to the beautiful people of San Francisco. We'd like to see San Francisco renaissance here of spiritual consciousness all over the valley and into San Francisco. So this is a good way to get it started. So everyone please come on down. It'll start at 10:59 a.m. on Friday morning. You can take the subway to get there. Thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for the United Citizens of the Transcendental Airwaves for joining us through the internet and every other way. And so now we'll put away all these asanas back in the back. We'll clear this dance floor and we're going to have an artik ceremony. Gaur Premanande Haribo. Inside. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachadine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacharishatadine. Jayo Jaya Gaura Chande Raruti Koshoba. Kiba Jayo Jaya Gaura Chande Aruti Koshoba. Janavitatavani Jagamana Loba. Janavitatavani Jagamana Loba. Jaga Janamana Lobha. Jaga Janamana Lobha. Gorangera Ratiko Shobha. Jaga Janamana Lobha. Need help. Gorangera Rotik Shobha Jagajana Mana Lobha Jagajana Mana Lobha Jagajana Mana Lobha Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Dakye Nitai Chan Bamega Dadhara Nikate Advaita Shrini Vashatradara Boshe Ache Gaurachan Ratna Singhasane Arati Korena Brahma Adi Deva Gane Narahari Adi Kori Chamaradulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Gosharigaya Shanka Baje Ganta Baje Baje Karatala Shanka Baje Ganta Baje Baje Karatala Madhura Mridanga Baje Paramarasala Madhura Mridanga Baje Paramarasala Madhur 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 Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Shankha Baje Gantha Baje Madhur 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 Baje शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे हरिबो 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 निताय गौर हरिबो निताय गौर हरिबो 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 निताय गौर हरिबो बाहु कोटि चंद्रजिनी पदन उज्ज्वला गाला देशे वनमाला Kore Jalamala Shiva Shuka Narada Preme Gada Gada Bhakti Vinoda Deke Gaurara Sampada Bhakti Vinoda Deke Gaurara Sampada Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna. Nariya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan, Nariya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan, Pate ache nam hata jivera karan, Pate ache nam hata jivera karan. Sharavanjan he, Sharavanjan he. Sharavanjan he, Sharavanjan he. Prabhuragnai by Magi Bika. Prabhuragnai by Magi Bika. Bolo Krishna, Bajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shika. Aparara Shina Hoy Loha Krishna Nam. Haribo, Haribo. Aparara Shina Hoy Loha Krishna Nam. Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dana Pran. Krishna ra samsara koro chari anacha. Krishna ra samsara koro chari anacha. Jive doya Krishna nam sarva dharma sa. Hey Nariya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Haribo. Jayom Vishnupad Paramhamsa Prevraj Gacharya Stotra Shishimad Bhai Charanada Vinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayom Vishnupad Paramhamsa Prevraj Gacharya Stotra Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki. Ananta Goti Vaishnavindi Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Zagaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Shri Maya Purnavati Dham Ki. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki. Jamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki. Samveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki. All glories to some of the devotees. All glories to the Simple devotees. All glories to the Simple devotees. Gaura Premanande Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Namaste Narashingaya. Namaste Narashingaya. dala dadai re. Pralay dala dadai re. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha. Shilatankanakalaye. Shilatankanakalaye. Idona shinga pada dona shinga. Idona shinga pada dona shinga. Yato yato yamika dona shinga. Yato yato yamika dona shinga. Bayuna shinga hridayuna shinga. Bayuna shinga hridayuna shinga. Narasingamadim sharanam prapade. Oh, Narasingamadim sharanam prapade. Tava kara kamalava renagam adbhuta shringam dalita hiranyakashipu tanubringam kesavadita narahari rupa jaya jagadisha hare. Jaya jagadisha hare. Jaya jagadisha hare. Hiranyakashipu Tava kara kamalava renagam adbhuta shringam dalita hiranyakashipu tanubringam keshavadrita narahari rupa jaya jagadisha hare. Jaya jagadisha
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Bhakti Narasimha Bhagavan ki, Bhakti Shrimani Prahlad Maharaj ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari 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 Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We welcome you all to the Wednesday Feast program, and despite the rain, we're happy to see such a wonderful gathering here. We'd like to thank His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu for the wonderful Bhagavad Gita class. We also thank him for the Gaur Aarti. Haribol. And Avantika for leading the Nrsingadev prayers. Haribol. Before the weekend at ISV, we will be having a wonderful book distribution event that will be taking place in San Francisco at Market and Powell. This is our annual festival after Thanksgiving on Black Friday, where we'll be going and giving out sets of books to all the people who will be coming to this area to do shopping and various other activities, but we will be stopping them to give them this transcendental knowledge. And this is a family event. We all go together and we have so much fun distributing prasadam and books. So please join us. If you'd like more information, you can contact myself regarding the location or regarding anything else. Please feel free to contact us, and we'll be happy to give you that, and please join. We'll also be having the normal Saturday program and the Sunday feast. Would you like to announce? Hare Krishna. Today's prasadam was cooked by Vishwapati Prabhu, Rupa, Sri Mataji, and Rohini. Hare After prasadam prayers, prasadam will be served near in the corridor area because it's raining outside, and you're welcome to take prasadam indoors. Hare Krishna.
That's thunder. Sharira Vijaja Jodendriya Taheka Jibe Pele Vishaya Shagade Tarmatiti Boyati Lobo Moisu Durmati Take jeta katita samsare Krishna Bodhadoyamoy Gauri Bari Jiva Jai Shaprashad Anadi Lobai Shayanamrita Pao Radha Krishna Guna Gao Preme Dako Shri Chaitanya Ditai Preme Dako Shri Chaitanya Nita Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Sapa Punyavatam Rajan Vishaso Navijay Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanyarasyo Pajayate Prasana Chetaso Yashu Buddhipaya Pratisha Tvayopa Bhukta Shagyanda Vasulankara Charchitaha Utishta Bojino Dasas Tava Mayam Jaye Mahi Bhagavad Shri Mahaprasadaki Goda Premanande Nitai Goda Haribo 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 Nitai Goda Haribo. Please come take prasadam. Haribo.